Okay, you want to look at this one here, C. So the first thing we got to do is separate the variables. To me, there's more than one way to do this, but there's one good way and one less good way. I would say this would be my preferred way. dw over w minus 300 is equal to 1/25 dt. So look at yours. Did you guys bring the 1/25 over there with the w's? Or did you leave it over there on the t side, if you will?
Initially it was stupid, and I moved it.
Oops, and I'm frozen here.
Surprise.
Sorry.
You know what? I had a long day.
That's what it should look like, right there.
That's why it was funny.
Does this make sense?
I get to start and end my Mondays with Meg. Isn't that great? What did you say? I said I get to start and end my Mondays with Meg. Isn't that great?
I think I can find a lot of people that would not measure up to Meg in that regard. So I think that's a pretty good place. So I certainly wouldn't be complaining about that.
You're making me cry. I needed this positivity in my life today.
Maybe I just don't know those other people, but yeah, I think that'd be okay. Be a good thing.
Dang it.
Okay, so once you've done your antiderivatives, say something like this. This is a classic case where people don't recognize the natural log on that left-hand side. So make sure you're not one of those folks. Make sure you do. Take your time.
No.
All right. So then, for me, at this point, it makes the most sense to plug in the initial condition. So it'd be natural log of 1400 minus 300 equals 1/25 times 0 plus c. And so I'm getting natural log of 1100 equals 0 plus c, or just c. All right, so then I would take this and I would plug back into my initial condition. So it'd be ln, absolute value, w minus 300 equals 1/25 t plus natural log of 1100. Now I'm going to try to solve for w. This again is going to involve an e. They don't always involve e's, but the ones we've done today have. So I'm going to e both sides. This will give me absolute value, w minus 300 equals this whole right side.
Wait a second.
Okay.
No, not you. Sorry, you're good.
Okay. Now how do we decide? How do we evaluate the absolute value of w minus 300?
The initial condition.
Yeah. Well, so, and also, like, you can think about this really practically. It says at the beginning of 2010, you got 1,400 tons of waste and an increasing function w, right? So if w starts off at 1,400 and it only gets bigger, it's always going to be 1,400 or bigger minus 300. You're always going to get a positive result. So I think we could say then that the absolute value of this would just be w minus 300 equals all this. And then your final step could be just to add that over. So it'd be w equals 300 plus all of this stuff. And absent any fancy exponential logarithmic simplifications you chose to do, you could just stop right there. Okay?
That looks right.
Another common answer was this. Remember, w equals 300 plus 1100 e to the 1/25th t. That's if you...
I was so close to doing that.
You could simplify it like that, right? It'd be 1100 times.
You can do that.
You for sure can. That's very much of a correct answer. That's based on the idea that if you are adding exponents, you're really multiplying your bases.
I did not know that.
Wait, so was it, so like in the number 5?
Yeah, we could have simplified that one for sure. So here's what I'm getting at. You could write w equals 300 plus e to the 1/25th t times e to the natural log of 1100.
Yeah.
You're multiplying bases, you are adding exponents. You could definitely write it this way. And then what's e to the ln of 1100? 1100. So that's where you get that answer. Some people made a mistake to say that 300 plus 1100 is 1400. That's a mistake for sure, right? Because that's not really 1100. It's 1100 e to the 1/25th t. So you'd want to be careful. They're just unlike terms to begin with. You want to be careful with that.
Mistakes we just said were stupid.
I'm just going to knock on it.
Yeah. So how'd this go for you? I mean, makes sense for the most part.
Great.
So
It seems like review, basically.
it is, yeah, it is essentially. Remember what we did at the start? I wouldn't dismiss this. Remember how I stopped you and I said, take 1 minute and figure out A, B, or C. Which one is actually asking you to solve a differential equation? And you all said, okay, let's go with C, and that's right. Can you see how somebody, if they were in a big hurry and didn't take the time to think, what is this question actually asking me to do? You see how they could make mistakes? And do this in a wrong spot and then get all mixed up and then just totally blow it up and get a 0. I mean, I can see how somebody could do that. So take the time, especially with one of these more complicated questions, pick out the one that actually is the thing you are doing and follow the directions carefully. I think you'll be okay. All right, so we're going to come back to mice minus Katie on Wednesday of next week, or this week, I should say, and followed up by your Chapter 8 test on Thursday.
Thursday? Yeah, perfect.
All right, hey, good working with you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Are we still putting in, like, the extra practice and stuff? Or no?
For this current unit, yes, but not for our test on Thursday because we did the 2 quizzes
Oh, yeah.
already. Those are like the intermediate check-ins. I was looking at those other units as like the extra practice is kind of like the in-between check-in.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Oh, as like a quiz.
yep.
Get it.
But we actually did
But we
quizzes
did quiz, all right.
in unit 4.
Okay.
So,
So